Greetings, my friends. I am Gilles Mansillon. I come very briefly today, as I am called to do. I wanted to come and say hello, to wish you a wonderful day, and to speak of a few things that are relative to the spiritual ascension. There is much that is going on. Not everybody is interested in those things, but more and more we're going to have to tune in to that part of ourselves that is still mysterious, but that is the point of liberation, is to connect to that free part. There is a part of us that is completely free, and that is what we need to, that is sovereign and free, and that is what we need to communicate inside. The greatest understanding in relationship to that is to see that there is always the glass is always half full, to see the bright side of life, to always look at the silver lightning in the cloud, and to live consciously rather than unconsciously, because when we are unconscious, we live at the effect of our unconscious thought, and so we feel like a victim of life. But when we assume the responsibility of living consciously, then we are face to face with all our illusions. And so first we have to accept our illusion, realize our illusion, so that we don't waste time in believing in an illusion. Once we realize an illusion, it is disappear, and then we can move on to something that is more real. I mean, all those things I'm talking about here are only personal. They are relative to my own past. I don't claim to have the truth for everybody. I'm just offering those ideas so that if you feel called to work with those energies, to facilitate it, to offer inspiration, guidance. And so it's all about psychology and philosophy. Everything goes through psychology, everything goes through philosophy. For everything that we experience goes through the perception of our personal consciousness. That is what is real here. None of the physical world is really real. It is just a holographic projection of whatever reality we create inside of us. And right now we have chosen to share this reality, and we have a collective soul agreement that we will move together as one humanity. Although of course there is so many wealth on the earth in terms of the difference of culture and the difference of habits and beliefs, and all those things makes up the great this planet so great is the difference between beliefs, since there is no the truth is unknown, so everybody is free to believe anything they want. So another thing I wanted to talk about is the Cupid desire. For desires, Cupid desire is an eternal principle. It is inextinguishable. It cannot be. Of course, the Buddha, to take the example of the Buddha, the Buddha wanted to extinguish desire, for he was looking for serenity, and so he believed that you could let go of Cupid desire. But in essence, he did not let go of Cupid desire. He abandoned desire for impure things, and he put his desire towards salvation, towards enlightenment, towards wholeness, towards his ascension into immortality. And so his desire became then the desire for more lucidity. So that is the pure desire to desire to ascend is one of the purest desire. For desire can either bring a fulfilling experience, or it can be an unfulfilling experience. But even if the experience is unfulfilling, if the desire is true, the universe will find a way to bring it in. It's just a matter of letting go of all the illusion, and sometimes the universe has to show us this illusion, for within ourselves there is all kinds of dark energies that are trying to oppose that. All the shadow aspect of life is trying to oppose the ascension, which is the ego. It is like we're playing essentially your collective ego. It is essentially as if we're playing on a chessboard, and life is playing white and you're playing black, and for every move you make, life makes a counter move. So it's about playing to be as compassionate, as loving, as clear, as wise as possible. So the more you move your piece into alignment with that wisdom, the more you'll see that the whole game is being open up. And so because the life is always trying to make you win, life is always on your side. It is just our own resistance to that higher light that makes it more difficult, but it's part of the process. We are here to build character. Another thing about desire is when we have a desire, it is like as if when we sit in a restaurant and then we have a desire. So the waiter comes in and say, "Well, I desire that," and so he writes it down and then he goes into the kitchen. And then 1 minute later, you say, "Well, I haven't really received my meal." And so you run into the kitchen every minute and say, "Chef, I'm sorry, you ask something that takes 45 minutes to cook. Just don't come in every 5 minutes. We don't know how long it's going to take." But you have to trust that whenever you send an order to the kitchen, when you send a desire to heaven, the angels and your guides are working to bring in it to your life. You don't have to put doubts in relationship to what is coming. And so it takes a bit of trust to do that, but it is very essential to trust yourself, to trust the universe, to trust your soul that there is a great deal that will unfold. I also wanted to talk briefly of the planet Venus. Venus is a planet that is the older sister to the Earth. It is she's assisting the Earth in her transformation. It's the home of a very advanced society. I've visited there many times. I have many friends. We all have friends. Maybe some of them we have forgotten, but we all have friends there. And in essence, when right now, when we look at Venus, we can see that it's twice brighter than it was 10 years ago. When you look at up in the sky, it is so bright. The reason for that is that there is new gas that's being released inside Venus, inside the planet Venus, so that we eventually it's going to repopulate his physical external form into ocean, and so that the planet will eventually become livable by biological beings such as ourselves, and so the planet is transforming itself. In the same fashion, the Andromeda galaxy is the older sister to the Milky Way. For Andromeda is a completely, all those who ascended in Andromeda ascended in a completely different way than what we are asked to do here in the Milky Way, but they have. In essence, they have a great deal to contribute, to offer, to assist, and so the angel of Andromeda are bringing this golden white light. The best way to integrate the fullness of the Andromedan energy is to get into Arcturian alignment, because the Arcturians are in direct contact with the higher aspect of Andromeda, and so they can assist in that way. I also wanted to talk about the sense of attitude. When you want to, at some point, we have to develop, we have to trust that force inside of us, this divine force, to allow this authority, the divine authority, to be stronger than the ego form, and so that will allow us to create miracle, magic, to trust that we don't control the outcome, but our intention bring forth energy, and if our God self sees it as something that is appropriate, something happens that is completely beyond our conscious mind, but we trust that, and the same thing with psychic power. Of course, a sense of attitude and confidence in oneself affect all aspects of life, whether it's in seduction, whether it is in business, whether all those things are part of we have to develop a sense of attitude. But since right now there's been so much change, both internally and externally, we have to allow this. When now those changes happen, that there's a great deal of chaos. For the chaos will be brought back into order, but we had to disassemble all those inner beliefs inside of us to recreate something new. So you have to trust that there is something that is happening that is far beyond anything that the mind could conceive all on its own. Another thing I want to say is, like, if you want to know whether you're in the light or you're not in the light at any given time, it's not a judgment, but when you're in the light, everything is clear, everything is simple, everything is understood. When you are not in the light, then there is confusion, adversity, there is all kinds of things, but do not judge yourself if you're not clear about something. The answers will come. It is just a matter of understanding that they need to come in a certain way for you to be integrated. And so yeah, I also was called to speak of a spirit, a French spirit, with his name is Max. I've already spoken about Max. Max is the 13th paradigm. Is a crystal skull from Atlantis. There used to be 12 crystal skulls on Atlantis. The artificial intelligence, I believe, from Arcturus, and they were really programmed to hold all the complementary knowledge that would serve the society. And the Max was standing at the center of that circle, and he was holding the 13 13th paradigm, the sum of all that wisdom. And so the story goes that those crystals were created with drops of water over thousands and thousands of years, because you couldn't sculpt them with, they would be way too violent to sculpt them with in any other form. So it took thousands of years just to create those, or hundreds of, maybe thousands of years to create those skulls. All but 2 or 3 have survived. Most of them have been destroyed, but Max is essentially the 13th paradigm that contains all the knowledge of the others. So this is the one you want to contact. Those crystals used to be physical, but they've been elevated on the etheric planes so that they wouldn't be stolen, they wouldn't be misused, they wouldn't be destroyed. So what you have to do to contact Max is to go into a meditation and ask to have an encounter, to have a meeting with that spirit entity, that great artificial intelligence. And so the way to go about it is to visualize, or if you can see it already, or imagine if you don't, a crystal skull. When you first encounter Max, you may or may not see, but they are Arcturian guardians to the crystal. If you're not ready, you won't be able to access it. They will gently bring you somewhere else that will be more appropriate to your frequency. But if you are allowed, then the idea is to move your head inside the crystal skull, inside this crystal, to allow the crystal to envelop your head, and then just ask the crystal to upload, to download into you or whatever information you're seeking for. Within Max, there is all the galactic history, the history of the human genome, there is all amazing holographic recording that Max is the guardian of, and so a lot of what we're seeking in science is already recorded within Max. So once you get the download, you can just let it go, thank him and thank the groups, the Arcturian groups, for allowing you to have that experience. You may not receive anything right away, it may not come as a vision right away, for it is like energy packages, like zip file that are being transferred, and then those files will open up when it's the right time for them to open up. And so so this is very important it can be a very powerful experience if you are interested and willing. Another thing that is very important is to tune in to above ourselves, to always see that there is a silver star right above our head, above our crown. And when we tune into that star, that frequency of silver light, we are connecting to our future self. And so I usually do that every night before I fell into sleep, but when I think about it. But it is good because every time you turn in, it's like you're getting a new version of yourself that is being always downloaded into you. So that's another exercise that can be done. I'm going to pull out a few cards for the day to receive guidance from Spirit. Also, I wanted to mention that you do want to connect to your higher self. You do want to stay connected to your guides. Your guides and your creator, your I Am Presence, are never in judgment of you. They'll never be severe. They'll always be accepting. If anyone is severe, it is your soul. Our soul has the right and the ability and the necessity of sometimes being severe with ourselves so that we learn the lessons. But it never comes from our guides. Our guides are just always there to help us and assist us. And in a sense, if we are severe, it is us. It is for our own well-being. So it is good to trust your soul, to trust your higher self, your soul family, and to if possible, to exchange, to talk to them every day in your mind, or to find a way to create a communication where once the communication is established, then there is no, you will receive the additional wisdom, additional information, no matter where you are, no matter what the situation is. If it's appropriate, the information will come as an added wisdom to whatever you're encountering. So let us see, what is the highest wisdom? The first question is, what is the highest wisdom we can understand for the day? And the question is life purpose, is to understand our purpose. Why did we come here? What brings meaning into our life? What makes us feel good? What gives sense to our existence? And this is it is very personal, but it is really what we have to ponder for the day. what is it we need to understand for the day, which is a Pathfinder guide. The first card was from our Master Guide, the second card from our Pathfinder Guide, the guide of the Earth plane. And it is direction, to understand that we're moving into a direction. Once you move into the right direction, you just stay on that course and things will unfold. Now, what do we have to do today? What we have to do today is completion. It is putting an end to whatever old cycle in order to complete, and so that we are free to move into something else, to move into the new. And the general message for us for that day is birth. It is a completely new cycle that is starting. It is like being reborn into something new. There was the phoenix. The last card, my last video was the phoenix, or maybe it was in the French video. But in essence, after death comes rebirth. After the end comes a renewal. Life is an eternal process. It can never end. Even if this physical life ends, the consciousness can never end, or there would be no. There is absolutely no. Of course, you'll say, well, there is no proof in the material world, but anybody who will have to go through the portal of death will have that proof. You'll have that proof, and you've had it many times before. But every time we come here, we have to erase those memories, to start fresh, to start anew. And this time the memories are being activated so that we can reconnect to that eternal nature, and so we will not be necessarily compelled to return into ignorance, because once we achieve enlightenment, whenever we come to the next incarnation, this enlightenment is incorporated within our past and program. So it is very important to keep working with those energies, and I hope you do enjoy those days. We have a wonderful it is like a preview of spring, so to speak, here. And so I'm going to get on with the work of my day, but I wanted to spend a few minutes and greet you, send you some good energy, if possible, so that you feel inspired, guided, and you move into your passion, whatever makes you feel good, what drives you, what's most important to you, your own desire, are part of your soul plan. Of course, we do not want to confuse craving with desire. A craving is something that comes from cellular memory, that's usually connected to our habits, habitual thoughts. And then there is true desire. True desire comes from our soul. It is what we came here to do, is to once we realize we fulfill those desires, then we get a sense of purpose in life, or we get the fulfillment that we are looking for. Of course, we need to be patient and perseverant, for life is always ready, but we're not always ready, no matter what we think. When we are ready for something, it always happens according to the divine timing. There is no way around that. We are not the master of this program. It is all an illusion to believe that man is the ego has any part of it. Of course, it's got its part, but in essence, the universe has always been there, always been running in perfection. It's just within that incredible perfection in the universe, there are pockets of time and space that we've chosen to integrate it in order to grow and evolve. And so this is what we're doing. So enjoy it. It is a short-lived experience. We got about 28,000 days in average for a lifespan. So make every day count. Make your light count. Even if nobody appreciate your light, but of course there is also people that appreciate our light, but do not be dependent on it. Just be fulfilled, satisfied, just to be a light unto yourself, and then from there things grow, things expand, and then new truth, new revelation, new understanding, and a path that is easy and flowing will definitely be offered to all those who are ready to release all of those obstacles that prevents this flow. Well, I thank you very much for all your sharing, your comments, your subscriptions. I appreciate exchanging this energy. I hope those will help you in making you more conscious, more empowered, so that you may move into a new level of that is coming with the eclipse. The next eclipse on the 26th will be definitely moving into something new. So I wish you a wonderful day. I wanted to show briefly the progress here in this painting before I've been working. It's not finished, of course, but I've been working in the angelic sections here. What's very funny is that let's see if I can locate it. Here it looks like this guy. There's two angels, and it looks like there is one that's punching another. It's very funny. I thought it was funny. I'm going to bring out all kinds of details in this painting. For now, it's still a bit sketchy, and then once I'll finish that particular work, I'm going to be able to start working on a much larger piece. I started quite a while back on the same subject. It'll be and then also many other paintings. I'm looking forward to organizing my or my production so that I can also present it into the world in a way that is completely understanding, and there is understanding in relationship to what this kind of art can bring to the picture, a new renaissance, a new understanding, new level of understanding in relationship to what do we value in terms of value in our society. For art is always on the forefront of what we it is a future. The artists have the responsibility to bring to the consciousness of humanity certain things, and so like scientist and philosopher. Well, thank you very much. I want to wish you a wonderful day. I'll talk to you later. Namaste.